Hi everyone, it's Sintang Mayumi. I have another spring cards for you today. I started with creating my cloud background. I used my favorite things mini cloud stencil, and I also used broken china distress oxide ink and blend the clouds with my brush blending tool. I used one of the pattern paper from Doodlebug So Much Fun 6x6 paper pad. I will cut my pattern paper to 5.5 by 4 1/4 inches, so it's the same size as my cloud background and watercolor paper. I used Little Inkers Designs color blocking die to die cut my papers. I will stack the papers together and I will place the die on top and secure it with washi tape. You can tape the papers together on the sides, but I didn't do it. I just made sure the papers are together when I run it through my die cutting machine. And these are all the die cut pieces. I will get 3 cards from these die cuts. I will stamp my images on the watercolor die cut pieces, and I will use a stamp set from Craftin Desert Divas called Woolly Lambs. I recently got this stamp set from the mail and played with it right away. These images are so cute and perfect for spring cards. I'm using my Stamp Perfect to stamp my images on the die cut pieces. These stamps are brand new, so I have to stamp a few times to get good impression. The ink I'm using for stamping is Genicay Black Amalgam ink. As always, I use my Daniel Smith watercolor paints and my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers to color the images. The flowers are tiny on these images, so I just use one color and 2 colors on the critters and blend the colors with the blender. I will color one of the images and color the rest off camera because I don't think you want to see all of that. My coloring is pretty basic. After the coloring is done, I will adhere the pieces together. I cut a printer papers same size as my cards will be and adhere the pieces on top of the printer paper. I will butt them up together on the printer paper, making sure there are no gaps. After I adhere all the pieces together, I will die cut them with one of the largest die from Gina Marie Designs Nested Scallop Stitch Rectangle Die Set. I pull out my Stamp Perfect again and I will stamp one of the sentiment on the panel. I will use Genicay Amalgam ink and stamp it a couple of times so I get a clear impression. For the other 2 sentiments, I will stamp them on a scrap of blue shimmery cardstock that I have on my desk with Versamark ink, and I will emboss them with Wow Opaque Bright White embossing powder, and then I will melt that powder with my heat tool. I will cut my embossed sentiment using my Fiskars trimmer and use my scissor to cut an angle on the sides. Now I can adhere my panels on a card base, and my card base is Rose Petals 110-pound cardstock from Michaels. After I adhered my panel on a card base that I thought it needed a strip of gold glitter paper on the card. If I thought of this earlier in the process of making the cards, I should have adhered the strips of glitter paper first and then die cut the panel with the scallop stitch rectangle die. So the strip of glitter paper will be the same as the scallop cut on the edges of the panel, and it will look much nicer. For the inside of the cards, I have scraps of the pattern paper left over, so I will adhere them on the lower part in the inside of the cards. And I will stamp the images again with Kaleido Tomato Vine ink in the inside of the cards. And lastly, I will add shimmer on the sentiments, flowers, ribbons, and critters using Jelly Roll Stardust pen. And my spring cards are finished. I adore these critters from Craftin Desert Divas Wally Lamps stamp set. I hope you like today's cards, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.